Hi, as we start the relational database project through this first homework assignment, I wanted to give you an overview of what this project will consist of and what the end product might look like also. I'm going to do this in PowerPoint form. The 5 basic assignments that you'll be asked to do in this class are to describe a business process. So this is something that you're familiar with, and keep it kind of simple at first. We can make it complicated later. Next, you'll create an access table. This is one table based on something you want to keep track of in that business process. And I want to emphasize the correct use of building a table and the documentation that's needed, so that you see that there's a right way and perhaps a wrong, easy, sloppy way to do it. The next assignment is maybe the most difficult one. It's relating multiple tables together. So once you create one table, create 2 or 3 more, and then relate them together. And this relationship can get difficult. But once you understand it, you go, oh, well, that wasn't that difficult. So hopefully you'll get that aha experience and go, oh, I relate them via the primary keys. Next, you'll create forms, queries, and reports. And there are wizards that help you do all this stuff, so it's not as difficult as it sounds. Same way with a switchboard. The switchboard is a graphical user interface that you will create that helps the basic user or non-technical user navigate through the database and use it. Put data in, pull data out, create reports. Here's some examples of business processes from previous assignments. And I describe them in one sentence, which is a good exercise for you. Customers buy products from inventory. So customer is a table. Inventory is a table. Customers buy products is a table that relates these other two. Customers pawn items and receive a loan for the items that they pawned. Mechanics repair cars using parts. Employees are paid after taxes, deductions, benefits are taken out. Crops are grown using material such as tractors and fertilizer or labor. So some of the tables in here are customers or inventory or mechanics or employees or crops or material or maybe tractors, that type of thing. Tables that relate, these basic tables have names like customers buy inventory, mechanics fix cars, employees are paid. So there'll be other tables that you'll need to create that will relate these basic tables together. So this was the homework that you've been working on. This is the first homework. The next one will be to create an access table using one of the tables that you and I have kind of agreed on that you'll be using in the database. And it should have a primary key. Each field will have a description. It should have an appropriate name. And it should have an appropriate data type. Sometimes number is obviously the data type you would need. Sometimes it's date. Sometimes it's text. So this should be appropriate. And as you do this, consider using the lookup data type. You'll find that very, very helpful. And I'll try to give you some hints on that later on. Then the next assignment is to relate these multiple tables that you'll create. So you've created one access table, and you get it. Okay, now create some more, and then relate them together. And do this using this entity relationship diagram. And this is called an ER diagram, and there are examples in the book, at the back of the book. And I've posted videos on how to do this as well. Next, you'll create queries, and you'll input data, you'll create queries and reports. And these queries, and there are wizards that help you do this, so it's not as difficult as it may sound. Now, the queries need to have some related tables in them, so it needs to be a somewhat complex query, and they should have some criteria. Now, the last one assignment is to create a graphical user interface. In Access, this is called a switchboard. And it's kind of fun to do. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. It's like, oh, that wasn't that difficult. And it's basically creating buttons that move you to the different forms and reports that you use to put data in and pull data out. And you'll need to create some buttons. It's not too bad. Lastly, I may have you present your database online in some way. So you'll write it up and and either send to me or I'll have you post what your database can do. In class, I'd have you present it in class. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole overview. I post-access how-to videos on WebCT. They're posted right now. There are many wizards that make creating things like forms and queries and reports much, much easier, and graphical user interfaces. There's wizards that help you do all this. And what I've found in the past is that the most difficult aspect seems to be taking these tables, that you have multiple tables, and then connecting them either via other tables or via the primary key, foreign key relationship so that they're connected. And we'll talk more about this in the chapter that discusses databases, and I have how-to videos. If you have questions, you can ask me. And that's it. So have a good time with this.